Let's go with the top left as the green Terran. Oh no, they both lose to Protoss. One loss to Zerg. Ha! One loss to Stalkers, one loss to, well, I don't want to say lost to, but he lost by going mech. It's this guy in the top left. It's KeeN. Losing out to Impact the preliminary match. And in the bottom right, this guy lost out to Stalkers. It is jjakji. And, it's, it may be perhaps difficult to call who wins this. KeeN didn't look in form much at all against Impact. At least jjakji, you know, obviously put up a really good fight, got a couple of good jabs in there. Even the last game, which he lost, still got the hell in to do damage. I think he looks stronger as a Terran player right now in general. But we'll see what KeeN has in mind. Perhaps KeeN also going to do mech in this matchup. Maybe he's just really trying out something new. Maybe he would have tried it versus Protoss if he was matched against Protoss. I don't know. But he went mech all 3 games versus Zerg, and it didn't work out. He was 3-0. jjakji just 3-2'd. It's unfortunate to have the 2 Terrans left over in the tournament fighting each other. But that's the breaks, I suppose. And we do have TvT on the new patch and the new maps. Catalyst seemingly being a map chosen by a lot of these guys. Even first in some cases. Seems to be a well-liked map. It's pretty basic, so it's not surprising. Not really too many like surprises here on this map. Maybe the third base could be a little awkward to take a hold of, but not that bad at all. We do have a command center going down for jjakji. KeeN continuing on 1 base. I'm glad to see a TvT in general, I suppose, just because with Terrans either getting knocked out early on or just not, you know, appearing, you know, either one. We don't see what TvT looks like in the new matchup that much. And I certainly would like some direction to go in my own game, since Ravens being one of the biggest changes in this new patch for Terran and was one of the biggest units in TvT before the patch. Like, where does it exactly stand right now? People are, I think, hesitant to utilize the new features on Ravens. So I put it that way specifically because maybe some people say that they're bad, maybe some people say they're overpowered, but there's no getting around the fact they're very, very different. And you definitely won't see like the lower leagues use them too much until someone shows like this is how you're supposed to do it. By lower leagues, I guess I mean like Diamond and Masters, to be honest, because anything lower than that probably aren't really paying attention to build orders. But hey, maybe you are. It's wrong of me to say. But point is, yeah, definitely have some Terran senpais to look after if you want to see how Ravens are used, which is why I say some people think they're actually overpowered. Maybe not OP, but like actually really good tools to have. Well, I'm gonna mute yourself if you can. The Cyclone comes in here, and this is still a powerful tool. Like, this ground attack did not change, and the air attack got a little bit better too. So this has not changed about TvT. It really is just a question of the Raven. We actually have KeeN following up with a Raven. jjakji, just a couple of Vikings here, but still throwing off this attack with his own Cyclone. Nothing too interesting happening there. I mean, typical 1 base versus command center opener shenanigans going on. I see TvT a lot in losers brackets. Well, yeah. Most of our open tournaments don't have losers brackets, so this is like the only opportunity. If this is an open bracket, like they're already gone. No TvT necessary. But this Raven, so to talk a little bit about what the Raven got changed. Remember, in the old patch, it had, let's see here, point defense drone, secret missile, and auto turret. Auto turrets are being used for harassment. They are being used to bust tank lines. Point defense drone, not so much this matchup. Same, well, I guess Viking Wars actually were pretty good. And let's see, secret missile, yeah, definitely not used so much in this matchup either. Oh, they did. So now, okay, it used to be called scrambler missile, but now they have interference matrix, repair drone, and anti-armor missile. I guess I don't really care if they changed it, but I just wonder why. Like, what was wrong with scrambler missile? Anyways, because we still don't have much action going on here. KeeN not having the best of openers, but getting his own command center finally up and ready to go. Down to Cassivis is not a great start. We'll see what he can do. Interference matrix disables the target by running it and unable to attack using ability 6 seconds. That could be pretty good. Repair drone is what it sounds like. That's pretty obvious. Repairs, mechanical units, and then anti-armor missiles. It pursues a target, dealing 30 splash damage upon contact, reducing armor of affected units by 3 for 21 seconds. So perhaps we'll see some of these in effect. And yes, by ruining the abilities of units, it really goes kind of like full effect, not just like a boost or healing, but like also dropping. But I haven't really seen these myself, aside from watching like Nate play, basically. Seeing that in a TvT early stage. We do have jjakji also adding it on. And going for stim, both parties are, so no mech here. jjakji got the better end of the opener, pretty much, but he does find himself down in army supply. It was a little bit scary, but without much room to maneuver, KeeN doesn't have like a bunch of medifacts. There wasn't too much he could do to break this. Now with 2 Vikings as well as 2 Ravens, he can. We do have that actually being used right there, so the siege tank's just not being helpful, but ditto for jjakji. Uses on KeeN's tanks. Doesn't last too long. It's interesting, but with 2 Ravens, KeeN does once again stop jjakji's tank from firing. Bit of an awkward engagement, but one that still results in jjakji holding. And that's really important. 8 SCVs were killed, but KeeN realizes still on 2 bases, can't recover. GG. All right.
Hopefully that, yeah, my voice is definitely feeling better, even just like having a few minutes there. So thank you very much for covering that game. Tried to contribute a little bit, best I could. The scrambler, or excuse me, the interference matrix, or whatever, they also changed the way it looks here in the live version, and it looks very much like it reminds me of that Black Mirror episode where you would mute people and like you couldn't see them anymore or whatever. That's kind of like what I felt happens. You just took them out of existence. They can't do anything.
A little bit. I was a bit shocked at that. The change, by the name and the visual effects. I just wonder why. That's all right.
Thank you very much, Rob Thari, for the 100 bits. Rifkin looking so dapper with a tie. Map 2 is going to be on Abyssal Reef. We actually have an intro for this one, so we'll pop that off here in just a moment. Before we do, big shout out to South Korea coming out in force today. Over half of our viewership is coming from South Korea. So shout out to the South Koreans. See you guys here in game. Okay, game number 2 here in this best of 5. Actually, jjakji was the one who won that first one, right?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Make sure I get the right score, because he's moving out of his base pretty quick and made me do a double take. But yeah, swing to the top left, up 1-0. It is the blue Terran, jjakji.
The bottom right as the green Terran, he's KeeN.
And proxies coming into play. So people in chat are asking about the interference missiles, or interference matrix. I don't actually know if you can cast it on bio, but even if you could, you wouldn't want to. It's a single target spell that costs a decent amount of energy. Like blocking out a marine, you're just better off killing it, frankly.
Yeah, right. Not so many super important bio units that'd be worth the cost. So jjakji going for a 2-rax. Reapers were not changed. The early game of TvT was not changed. But this as a build for the last couple of months has not been particularly strong. It still does catch someone off guard if they don't add on, if they add the reactor instantly, for instance, after the barracks, or they go for a command center. But KeeN is once again one-basing it, so he should be good to hold against jjakji's 2-rax Reaper.
I guess the question is whether these 2-rax Reapers are ever nowadays meant to be game-ending. Back in the day, yes, the proxy Rax Reaper meant to snowball out of control and you win the game. Nowadays, I kind of feel like to an extent you can kind of get away with just doing enough damage or putting pressure on, delaying a natural. Like, it doesn't have to be game-ending damage the way it used to. Yeah.
Really, if you get ahead in your starport timing because they flub their control that much, that's already like a pretty big benefit. Because that's the one thing that KeeN should be able to get ahead on. Not economy so much, although he has up a couple SCVs, but rather the starport timing. KeeN does go for a second Reaper. So this really is setting up quite well, but then he chases the SCV. Okay, good thing he didn't chase any further.
But still, it's like Pepe Le Pew chased him out of the base, got a little bit baited, gonna lose an SCV for it. And while he goes to kill one SCV to make up for it, he's not coming back home.
That's a bit of a dangerous maneuver. Cycles take a long time. The thing is, KeeN can lose a couple SCVs and still be okay, especially if, again, his tech was faster. But he can't lose like 8 or 10. That's too much.
Yeah, and well, he's also losing a ton of mining from this too, which is really bad. All the SCVs have to be pulled. 6 have gone down. 7, we're hitting that number of just like a little bit too much. And of course, as we take a quick peek at the income, guys, so much has been lost just chasing this around.
Well, this one Reaper is being really obnoxious. Should never grab as many kills as jjakji just did, of course. But I guess if KeeN's control is really that good.
It's one Reaper. jjakji can actually just out-repair the damage. I'm not sure why he's chasing like this.
I'm not sure either. No matter what, like, it's just gonna not require that much focus. He obviously wants to put all of his focus on the attack, but he just lost 4 SCVs, which does help KeeN a lot after he lost 7 of them.
Yeah, especially considering KeeN's got production already going for the factory. Starport, you brought up timing-wise, is ahead, whereas jjakji's floating his barracks home and has only just finished the factory himself. I guess income-wise is going to even out here in a very weird, strange way. But tech-wise, KeeN with a very definitive lead. For now, at least.
I mean, it's obviously a lead. 20 seconds, 10 seconds, something like that. But that is basically the length of the map anyways. So if he had immediately gone to Liberator, for instance, the Cyclone would be out. A Viking would be, like, almost out, basically. And things would be okay. So as an opener, I think jjakji performed it fine. I think it worked out, but it did not get him the lead that he wanted. Obviously, a game-ending victory would be preferable.
I like this attempt to take on the Cyclone. This is actually kind of working with good control. Almost gets it. The SCVs are pulled to repair because he realizes it's getting a little bit tight. Oh my god, if that 4th Reaper didn't die, he may have actually got the kill there.
Yeah, that was surprisingly close. Grabs an SCV at the very least and still has those Reapers to come back another day. But jjakji, he did not send that 2nd barracks all the way home, instead using it as a scout.
Yeah, I hope he blocks out a building if he lifts the starport to swap or something.
Would be
Steal the tech lab, or even just landed to block out the building one way or the other.
KeeN gets into the main base, which is important not just for the SCV pool, but for the scout.
This is a big SCV pool that jjakji cannot afford to be making right now, and it's not getting cleaned up at all.
Well, jjakji, the reason it's not is that jjakji's focusing entirely on a push again. He's at 2 Cyclones, but 3 Reapers and a Viking. This would beat out what KeeN has in a perfect world, but a bit of high ground maybe would help out.
Lands the Viking.
Oh, well.
Thank God he's got the high ground for the barracks. The Viking would do a ton of damage to mechanical, so the Cyclones can't actually hold this. It's not a fair fight. It really actually isn't. jjakji with a better army composition. 3 Cyclones to 2, though, might change that up. 2 of them very low. 1 goes down. Viking doesn't quite snipe the 2nd.
Yeah, Defender's advantage is too strong there. It wasn't the high ground with that barracks, but it was still a choke, a ramp, and production much faster for KeeN, so a little bit scary. Was that worth for jjakji? He lost 5 SCVs to that Reaper, almost 6.
Well, I would say yes, because his command center is going to be definitively better now. This is like, okay, you lost 5 SCVs, but you should be able to make these up in the time it takes KeeN to make his orbital and even float it over. And frankly, jjakji may be able to block this out with the barracks. Like, there's still more shenanigans afoot.
He should, but his army supply took the biggest hit right there, and KeeN has a lot of potential to, I don't know about ending the game, but stalling jjakji's economy out even further. Fortunately, just kind of staying in the middle of the map, losing out in that timing as a tank is already on the way. 2 Vikings to help out, specifically when landed, too.
This is really interesting for the Raven use. Back before the patch, auto turrets would without a doubt hold this, install this. Now, it's weird because it is Cyclone versus Cyclone, but with only 1 Cyclone for jjakji, if that gets interference matrixed, I'm gonna call it scrambled, guys. Like, I'm just gonna be real. It's easier to say and it sounds cooler anyways. But if it gets scrambled, he's gonna not have much to fight with. Although, I take that back. 2 Vikings landed are gonna be more than enough damage.
Yeah, exactly. That was the timing, I think, that was really missed by stalling in the middle of the map like that. By stalling, though, he makes it no longer like a direct push to the face, try and win. He does make it into a very common tactic on Abyssal Reef. Siege that tank, protect it, be mildly annoying. But, you know, point is, delay some of the mining.
This is where I'm glad we got this charts back, though, so you guys can see exactly how back and forth the income's been. And I wouldn't really call either player necessarily ahead on income, because they've traded out ups and downs enough that it still kind of equalizes here 7.5 minutes in the game.
It's a really weird equalizer. It looks like jjakji might have had more highlight, you know, points, but very, very minimal.
Scramblers coming down on the tank. Nice to see. Vikings also now forced to walk away from this. Tanks on the high ground, though, got some good shots in for jjakji, and he actually holds pretty nicely. And while this goes on, of course, his barracks has been floating through the main, so he's had pretty good scouting.
This is a weird game, but jjakji is now ahead for sure. He held on to his natural with only like 2 seconds loss of mining time, and has a third CC already done. The biggest mistake he could make, I suppose, is throwing away the army he has right now because KeeN's production is already finished. That was a trade-off of third CC timings. But if he, I mean, he's grabbing a tank already. This is really nice. He could maybe have gotten a really nice stranglehold. Well, that's why KeeN's pushing out here. Faster stim, catches everything in a nice concave.
That was a sick move. He scrambled the Raven so it couldn't scramble the tanks.
That was pretty clever.
That Raven died with like 100 energy. That was a cool move out of jjakji.
KeeN, absolutely crucial that he actually pushed out to meet that. Like, without that concave, if he had to go down a ramp against the growing tank count, he would have lost mining time, lost SCVs at that natural. So very important there. jjakji does lose most of his army, and this is the scariest point for him. He knows his army supply is in the gutter. He can look at his army, it's not that big. And he's still waiting on barracks to finish up. So KeeN, I mean, yeah, he can lift, he can pressure, he can drop, he can simply deny the third base, and he probably will get a benefit from that, even though his third was so much later.
I feel like I really actually am passionate enough about this ability name. Like, call it Scrambler Matrix or something. Interference Matrix is complicated, stupid, and I don't actually think accurately describes what's going on.
I think because it looks like Matrix and it interferes, it does actually describe what's going on. But Scrambler Missile sounded cooler, and I got the idea from Scrambler. It scrambles the brain, they can't attack.
Well, that, and it's just easier to say on the cast, man. Every time they cast Interference Matrix, like, yeah, that's Interference Matrix. That's like 6 syllables to 2. Like,
I just call it Matrix from here on out. I don't know.
We got Matrix? I don't know. Now it just sounds like we're talking about Reboot.
Or someone's like, Defensive Matrix is back in the game? What?
Yeah, I'm actually really not, like, I might actually go make a Reddit thread about this, to be honest. Okay, you don't have to call it Scramblers, but like, Interference Matrix is just a bad name for the ability. Jammer. Someone says Jammer. Call it Jammer. Yeah, I'm down for that too.
Yeah, that's better. I agree. That's just too long of a name. But jjakji, pivotal moments where he had to hold for so long. He's also going to be behind in combat shields, it looks like. Oh no, he got 2 tech labs. All right, he's actually ahead in combat shields. I mean, it looks like he's going to be able to hold on to 3 bases. KeeN brought the 3rd base in a nice timing for him, considering how much faster jjakji got his. And the game is, again, kind of notably even.
I can't believe this barracks is still floating around scouting this whole time, by the way. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Oh, double drops on both sides. jjakji, he's got a couple of tanks set up in the natural. This might not be so bad. His own depots are going to screw him over, though. He realizes that. Pulls back, but this one drop in the main, combined with the drop in the natural, has picked up 23 SCV kills.
And one fell swoop, jjakji plummets down in that economy. Very odd to see tanks from behind deal with that. Is that really on purpose? It seems so dangerous. But jjakji just took a huge blow. He was really starting to get even an upper hand because his upgrades were faster. And with that, he's fallen way back down. KeeN should be getting a bigger army supply in like a minute or so. But right now, he has a lower army supply. A lot of it's tied up in medevacs. jjakji going for the immediate counter is probably his best move.
Oh, Vikings see this coming, but it's not going to pick it off. Goes for the scan, a little bit scared with the tank.
A single tank might ruin KeeN's day.
Sensor tower saw this coming.
But going to the main, perhaps? Nah. He doesn't know there's an opportunity there, so just sieges up the 3rd base. But this is not what the damage he was looking for. This is not even that worrying for KeeN.
Oh god. And meanwhile, he's blasted away here in the 3rd base. Attacks on the natural once again with these tanks set up. jjakji's attack over here pressures nothing. It killed the sensor tower. That sensor tower is almost like a really sick bait, because this gave KeeN free reign to just do damage on the other side of the field.
Yeah. I don't even know how much damage jjakji could have done if that had entered to the main base. There's just so few Marines in this. Yeah, some of them died, sure, but like even without that, I'm not sure KeeN would have died to a drop. But jjakji, looking to collapse in on the army, is again just behind in this game, putting all of his resources into his production, not repairing his economy. Doesn't even win this fight.
Yo, it's really interesting. I was just going over the army graph right before the fight came in, and KeeN has actually not been winning a lot of the army fights, but jjakji's still the one who's losing.
Hmm. Well, down to 27 SVs is pretty brutal. 25.
This is like those YouTube channels where like someone does something really dramatic and everyone just watches them lose subs over the next couple days. It's kind of like just watching the SCVs fall apart.
Hmm.
SCV counter stream.
KeeN can no longer, I think, throw this game. There's a little bit of, you know, uncertainty when his army was kind of all over the place, but now it's collected and he is going for the throat. He scans the natural and sees there's nothing there. GG.
All right, KeeN ties up the series with a 1-1. Good start, so it's not going to be too one-sided, but unfortunately only one Terran can escape the ring. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, guys. Before we do, though, I want to give some statistics shout-outs. Like I mentioned before, Korea's making up a majority of the audience today, and unfortunately, I'm also seeing that that's tied to some betting websites, so don't know what to say about that. But USA comes in at number 2, Germany 3, Russia 4, Australia 5, and Canada 6. And what's interesting was UK was killing it yesterday. They're down all the way to 8th for viewership today. Then Poland, Taiwan, and Sweden. So shout out to all you guys for tuning in today. I hope you're having a great time. I hope you're enjoying the show. And I hope you're not being illicit gamblers. But we're going to go to commercial break. And we'll see you guys here in 2 minutes. And I got an itch on my back I just can't reach, but we're going to replay the little bits that came in because thank you very much, Royal Prospecting, through his 503, an oddly specific amount of bits right before we hopped into that break. So don't worry, I saw it, we got you, and thank you for the 500 bits. Also, do me a favor, I know everyone started cheering for their regions while we were gone. Don't do it right now, but I'm curious specifically, do we have any Canadians in the audience? And if so, write which province you're from for me in chat. But you're watching the TING Open Season 4. It's the losers match, aka the elimination series, and whoever is out of this series is going to be out of the tournament. Tied things up with 1-1 though. In the bottom left, we got the red Terran, jjakji.
In the top right, as the green Terran, it's KeeN.
Oh, this is really easy. I was going to pick somebody to gift a sub to from Canada, but unfortunately I see Gnome Saints from Saskatchewan. And I know you don't have anything going for you in Saskatchewan, so I'm just going to give you a sub out of pity.
Wow.
I don't know if you know anything about Saskatchewan, Zombie Grunt, but I'm not even taking shots fired. It's just the truth. So,
I guess, sure, yeah.
Congratulations to Gnome Saying.
Womp womp.
But TvT has shown some kind of interesting things so far. I guess I didn't know where this would go. Would we still see Ravens, right? Would that still be an integral part of the matchup? And so far it's looking like they have a lot of cool uses. But at the same time, you know, tanks and marines are still the core composition. TvT has ultimately not changed that much with the new patch. Not yet, at least.
Well, it shouldn't really change that much at all. I mean, the Raven is still a utility tool. And nothing else was buffed. They have the transformation servos from mech if they want to throw that out. But I don't think that was the life changer. And then Cyclone Anti-Air, but that, I mean, everything just kind of got buffed a little bit with what we were already doing in a TvT, so just keep doing it, I suppose, in just different ways. But the Raven's ability were pretty cool. I really didn't mind auto turrets. I still don't like entirely know why they completely like got rid of everything, but
yeah. So there's some things I can understand. The point defense drone, sure. The seeker missile was almost never ever used, but the auto turret had a really cool functionality to it. And sure, maybe they needed to tweak damage or change this and that, but I love the high aggro feature it had, and I feel like we are sorely going to miss that in some of the cool opportunities it created.
Yeah, I think so. That was the biggest fun part for me is the auto turret sneakily getting in there to distract a bunch of Marines. But
tank fire.
Yeah, I'm not gonna cry over it or anything. It just they really revamped the Raven entirely.
I think the interference matrix actually creates a lot more cooler possibilities, but I will still be sad and lament over the old cool abilities that we had. Also, Physics in chat says, do Prime subs auto-renew now nowadays, or do you still need to manually resub? And the answer is yes, you still need to manually resub with Prime once a month, so If you are on Prime, make sure to check it every 30 days or so. I obviously would love if you gave it to us, but just make sure you're using it anyways.
Yeah. So typical battle going down here, but KeeN can't really hope to do very much. jjakji is producing Marines, and that would be just enough to tip the scales. So that's
oh,
not too bad.
So there's a Liberator coming out. That'd be kind of interesting. It's not going to work because of a Viking, but I just realized, I remember seeing a post on Reddit where they data mined some of the skins that are in the game right now that are not being used. And one of them was the super beefy auto turret. And now realizing there's no place in the game that's going to be used because Mirahan's theme, which matches that auto turret, she doesn't get auto turrets with Ravens. Ravens in the game now, even if they put that skin in, aren't going to have auto turrets to go with them. Like,
does Nova get it, maybe? I don't know.
You can't use those skins though. You're stuck with the commander skins.
What if they change it out? I don't know.
So, she doesn't have auto turrets anyway. She has the weird shoot through everything turrets.
Someone. Wait, who has auto turrets? Besides Mira, that you just said.
I don't know actually if any commander does. Thinking on it.
Someone definitely does. I remember spamming auto turrets with Ravens.
Well, Nova has a rail gun, which is kind of like a turret, but it's not an auto turret.
All right. You would know. The Liberator sieges up in the natural, but it's to the Viking. It's already there, so quick pull away, and it seems kind of useless to do this.
And for those who just quickly saw a barrage of rockets come out of the Cyclone, that's the new lock-on, but hold the phone. This attack in the front, actually the grenades end up hurting him there as it spread the Marines away from the Hellion fire.
Well, Liberator died, but at least it wasn't too much of an investment, I suppose.
Yeah. This also isn't going anything weird. Both players are playing into bio, so no mech. Again, for me, a little bit sad to see. I like mech a lot. Attack at the front is just a scout at this point, because anytime jjakji moves out, he will kill this army, so KeeN needs to be ready to move back. That's kind of what's happening here. Ooh, third base gonna get that SCV stalled out on it, and this might be a very dangerous third to take, actually. Having that been scouted, I'm not sure if jjakji will be prompted to move out. Looks like no, he's not. He's not gonna try and punish that. He'll just happily get away with his own third.
It's similar to the last game. Third base faster for jjakji, but on, in his main. KeeN a little bit slower, but on location. Back to building it as soon as possible. KeeN does have the army supply, and a little bit on that stim timing as well. Again, behind the third CC, behind perhaps in the +1 armor, but moving out right now, looking for an opportunity.
This is actually really big. This delays the CC for so long for KeeN. In fact, this is borderline close to killing it.
It would have had he not responded. Very close to killing it, indeed.
You got 2 Hellions for that. That was actually a really worthwhile attack. And I don't think KeeN's got any sort of timing here where like, oh, okay, well, I'm behind the CC, but at least my stim's done for this attack. Like, by the time he pushes out, jjakji should have his own?
Yeah, I think without that Cyclone buying time, he would have had that timing.
Oh. Actually, jjakji's going to have 1-1, which will be huge, until KeeN finishes his combat shields, which will be ahead by a little bit. So I think timing actually favors jjakji here for the attack.
Yeah, well, that's... jjakji with the Sensor Tower does see this incoming, I guess, and already had his units in position. The stim is not going to be powerful enough to take out the tanks. There's not enough units for KeeN. Decides to pick up, but what is this really going to do? It's literally just the Marines.
Oh, he get a little bit late on the drop, but there you guys see, you can't cast abilities. This includes being able to unload and load. So, a good deny on the drop of that Raven. That was huge. Now there's a tank set up. He can't go back in. No, this is where I love the new Raven abilities.
Yeah, the anti-drop mechanic of the Raven is kind of cool, especially when it comes to Doom drops. That's going to make maybe life a little bit easier for TvT, but the Raven always being in position is going to be a little bit tough.
How long does that last, actually? It's only 6 seconds, but it feels a lot longer. This tank positioning is kind of nice to see. He's going to pick up one of the medevacs, though, so this is already not too bad for the defense, but he's bleeding out SCVs.
Pretty clever position on black-pink. And I was so confused for a second. The mini-map, it does not cover the bottom side. There's a little bit of a gap, and I was like, what is that purple army?
Oh, yeah, the little blur there.
Ooh.
Bottom side's met, though, and it's jjakji who's actually going to fall back from this, because, of course, as we mentioned before, he was lacking combat shield, so he can't really win marine fights. Raven's here. If he's quick, he can definitely keep them from dropping en masse, but he can't stop all of them, so 2 of the medevacs still unload. Buys enough time for the 6 seconds to wear off. At least 2 other medevacs are going to start unloading. KeeN now with a really good army presence in jjakji's main.
Yeah, the SC's being pulled to distract some of the tanks. The Marines are trying to get on top of everything, but this was an excellent maneuver that probably just won KeeN the game.
Yeah. 2-1 for KeeN. Nice lead on the series. Also, Dragon Reborn, thank you for that Prime sub coming in towards the end of that game. Sorry, things got a little bit heated, so we couldn't call that out. Huh. But yeah, that's a nice resub. It's a nice victory for KeeN.
Either he just likes dragons or he likes Wheel of Time. Kind of nerd are ya?
I don't know, but what is this clip? Low-key ruthless. I'm gonna listen to this. One sec. Oh, this is really easy. I was going to pick somebody to gift a sub to. Oh, I was making fun of Saskatchewan. Sorry about that. Actually, so the only reason I know about Saskatchewan is because my mom, despite being Japanese, is from Saskatchewan. So I've heard all the stories when I was growing up about Saskatchewan. But okay, Ascension Ire for map number 2.
This guy's a book nerd.
Book nerds are okay.
What kind of nerd are you? I'm a book nerd.
Thank you very much, Wix2001, for the 8-month resub. Glad to have you back. And looks like we're waiting on KeeN to give us the go-ahead. Rip ZG insulting me. You're not used to ZG insulting you at this point.
When did I ever insult you? I don't understand.
Not me. Whoever said it in chat. Hard Revenge.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking to him. He's ready to go.
Alright, see you guys here in game. Alright, game number 4 here in the TING Open. Losers match. Everyone's lives are still on the line. Nobody's quite out of this yet, but he is on his last life in the top left. The Red Terran, jjakji.
In the bottom right as the Green Terran, it's KeeN.
jjakji doesn't win 2 in a row. That's going to be it for jjakji, so crossing your fingers for either of these players, of course, because regardless of who wins this series, they're going to have to fight either Impact or Hurricane in that finals match for a chance to get out of that group. So this doesn't even secure things. It just keeps you from dying. Yeah,
I don't know if KeeN can actually take on either a rematch of Impact or the Protoss player Hurricane. I meant when I said when this first started out that I feel KeeN had less impressive results like lately, of course, but also just like literally today, getting 3-0'd. Or at least jjakji looks to be like, you know, putting up a fight against the Protoss. He did well at Home Story Cup. I really thought at TvT jjakji would do better, but I'm pretty positive even if he doesn't do better in TvT, KeeN's got that matchup on lockdown, sure, that jjakji would do better against the 2 remaining players, Impact and Hurricane. KeeN, man. Got grit.
People talk about handing out pamphlets because I look like I'm a Jehovah's Witness. What I am handing out is subs today, though, so rewarding some positivity in chat with a little more positivity. To be clear, guys, this still costs the full value of a sub, and no streamer on Twitch, not even like the biggest badass ones, get 100% of the sub value. This isn't free stuff. I'm just doing it because I love the gifting feature, and I really don't mind rewarding people in chat, our chat especially, with some subscriptions and some love. But this Reaper's kind of freaking out, man. These are, you know, I know you said that not all Marines are the convicts and the criminals, but all Reapers are kind of suicidal and crazy.
Most of them are. Again, like a little asterisk, like 99% are purposefully not calmed down or implanted with a chip so they can keep being crazy, because the jetpacks can actually explode at any time. But the most recent book that I read actually had like a leader of the Reapers that wasn't crazy, so.
I just love to think, like, you got the squad of Reapers, these crazy, psychotic, ruthless warriors. One of them takes his helmet off, though, sits down, puts on a monocle, is like British, and he's like super proper in his off hours. It's only when he's a Reaper he's got to be crazy.
He was pretty proper. The only reason he became a Reaper was because he was a pyro. So.
Hey.
Fire.
By the way, thank you Badly 818 for the bits. You guys have the sweetest souls this side of Timbuktu. I don't know where that is.
I always thought it was a made-up place, to be honest.
Oh, it's off the coast of Narnia.
It's probably off the coast of like Zimbabwe or some shit. We would never know. We don't know geography, guys.
Well, Reaper's hopping around right now. Not gonna get much done. KeeN is following this up with a Banshee. Cloaked Banshee, kind of a classic move. We didn't really get to highlight it much, but the Cyclone lock-on we've talked about a couple of times now. I'll just reiterate. Overall, over the full duration of lock-on, a Cyclone still does the same amount of damage as it did before. The difference is the first 4 shots come out much quicker, so it's a little bit burstier, and you get to unload that payload a bit faster. But again, overall, still the same amount of damage.
Yeah. They get a Triskel for the sub. For everyone pointing out that Zimbabwe doesn't have a coast.
It's kind of a point.
That's
my favorite coast is actually the coast of Kentucky.
What was it that we recently found out has a coast? It's like France, right? You're trying to say like
no,
France doesn't
Germany
have a coast.
I thought Germany didn't have a coast.
And Germany does? Okay. I thought Germany did, but I was pretty sure that France did.
Germany, fun fact, shares a coast with Denmark. Rifkin said half confidently because he doesn't quite remember if Denmark was the one someone told him. Damn it. It's okay. I pushed out all that useless geographical information to make room for StarCraft, guys. That's why we know what to do. It's a StarCraft. Banshee does get through here before this is ready to go. He's hesitant to use a scan, but he does have one ready. There we go. 7 SCVs killed, though. That's some good damage for KeeN.
Damn it. You're a penis. You're a penis.
What are we talking? What?
I misspelled Europeans.
Oh. You're a penis. I thought you just called me a penis for no reason. I'm like, okay, if I told like a dumb joke or I deserved it, sure, but like, hello?
I called you a penis instead of a dick when you... yeah, that's gonna happen.
You're being a real vagina right now.
Damn. Good point.
Got him.
So KeeN with the faster 3rd CC is a bit of a role reversal. jjakji's the one that needs to do damage off of his 2 bases. Can KeeN hold on to 3rd base? It's like really the question with this type of TvT.
Hellions are not being contested right now. This could have been much worse, but actually nets almost no SCV kills. 3 in total. Stim's also going to be done for jjakji for this fight, and like last time, Stim might not be the determining factor. It might be the combat shield follow-up, because that was ultimately what was giving KeeN the big edge, but Stim versus no Stim is still going to be a good advantage to have. He's going to find that tank, waiting 2 more in total. 3 in total.
Pretty important that KeeN decides to just give up the 3rd base being on location. He still will have a lead, actually a substantial lead, if he just holds off on that. But had he tried to save it, probably just dies. He doesn't have enough units, especially if jjakji got a concave. So, important, smart move there. Just wait out combat shields. Seems about to finish up, but wait out combat shields as well. And he'll be able to protect 3 bases so far in advance of jjakji having a 3rd.
So I just put it in chat, a quick reminder to folks to check out the prize pool of this tournament. Of course, TING throwing in $4,000 dues is a nice way to start this off, but lots of incentivizations and rewards. Like, for example, if we sell enough SIM cards, they'll throw in like another $1,000 on their own too. We've raised 1,000 through the fans. Jesse at some point is going to have to do a backflip live on stream for one of these, and then another is a show match between me and him through this rematch system, which I'm assuming he'll want to do sooner than later so he can take advantage of the patch versus Rifkin.
Look at Lee's that OP Protoss.
Also, sorry, the whole point of bringing this up was to try and nudge you guys to use the code TINGOPEN and use all the codes available for the tournament to add $1 to it. That way, even if you don't want to spend any of your own money, you can spend Match Arena's money. But Kame Shields is not done for this fight. I feel like jjakji's kind of timed this out poorly, whereas if he had waited, this may have been better, but he pounces on the tank, so can't complain there. The other two are picked up, brought back behind the mineral lines, and this Marine Assault is actually working out really well for him.
Overstays his welcome clumped up like that. KeeN pretty smart by putting his tanks back there where they're still protected. And then actually pounces on top of what he saw was unsieged Marine, or unsieged tanks, but with combat shieldless Marines, really work out in his favor too much.
And 15 SCV kills are pretty nice, but it just evened up the workers, really. He's going to jump on top of that one tank, or try to. Does pick it off. He's got pressure still in the command center. He's got enough Marines to make sure the Vikings can't just land on top of the tanks. If those Marines ever fall apart, those tanks are vulnerable. But the command center looks like it's going to die. He goes for it, too. He knows there's a vulnerability. Big pick off of the third going down. And jjakji getting a nice edge here in the game.
That was not supposed to happen. I mean, KeeN had already kind of flubbed the defense, to be honest, by not having his tanks in position, not realizing jjakji was already running towards him, but then to let the command center die on top of that, that's really bad. Now jjakji has an opportunity to get ahead in this game. He's still behind in an upgrade, he's still behind an army supply, but his third base, he'll have one. KeeN won't.
I just realized that viewer thought Jesse may have been in reference to you, Jessica. Ting Jesse, aka Zombie Girl.
Yeah. I mean, either that or he thought, you know, Jesse's a girl's name, and commonly I guess it is.
She is the other cowboy from Toy Story. Oh, loses both the tanks in that medevac. Nice pick off from KeeN. KeeN may be down a base, but he has up an army supply, so momentum favors him if he can get a good fight going for him. But getting that fight in the first place is going to be tough. jjakji jumps in here before the Liberators are sieged up. He takes out a lot of the Marines and falls back to stutter down, but not enough damage to kill the Liberators. GG. Oh, jjakji will unfortunately be knocked out of the tournament, but congratulations to KeeN, who will, with a 3-1, move on to fight another day and wait now in the finals for the loser of Impact versus Hurricane.
Yes, indeed, yo.
Oh, also, I've been pointed out, it's not incentivizations, it's incentives, and you are correct, but also it's 7 a.m., and we've been doing this for like 3 hours, so...
Germany has no coasts. Incentivizations is a word.
Well, maybe Germany would have a coast if there was more incentivizations for it to have a coast. All right.
Deal.
Willful ignorance aside, thank you guys for watching so far. Triskel, thank you for the brand new sub joining us here as well. We're going to go to a break for a sponsored ad break. A word from our sponsors, a word from TING. They'll talk about the, I guess, devices that you can bring to TING and all these other cool things. But yeah, once this is done, we'll get into the winners match. Best of 5. See you soon.